Shift the way you lead, the way you live. Clarity, courage, change. Because your next level won't wait. This is Monday Mindshift, the clarity you've been craving, the shift you didn't know you needed. Hello, and welcome everyone. Happy Monday. I'm excited to be here sharing this message because I think it's something, like many of the messages, it's something that all of us may have faced at some point. So I'd love to hear from you in the comments. That's what lets me know you're here. Otherwise, I don't know if you're watching without comments. So please comment, say hi, tell me where you're watching from, etc. Grateful to everyone watching this either on Team Live. Good morning, Amalia, or actually good afternoon for you now. Thank you. So let's get started. I just wanted to send an invite. I was trying to find Meryl. Because I know if I send it to Meryl, Meryl will send it out the wire. All right. So today's topic, the clarity addiction, why you're waiting to move until it's safe. High performers, high achievers, we love clarity. We want the 5-step plan. Tracy, good to see you. We want the 5-step plan, the clean timeline, right? Proof that it'll work. But there's a trap here. The more we demand clarity before we move, the more addicted we become to certainty. And therefore, our future gets delayed. Today, my goal is to name the trap of clarity addiction, explore why readiness is just a myth, and practice some ways that you can use to move even when it feels messy or unsafe. Annie Dillard says, how we spend our days is, of course, how we spend our lives. So, how are you spending your days? All right, next slide, I think. So, the trap, we crave clarity. And by the way, I used AI to quickly generate this because I didn't get them pre-generated. I think it did an okay job. So we already talked about this. All right, clarity is good. It's important, it's valuable, right? But it can mutate into an addiction when it becomes the block, the condition for taking action, right? We say, oh, I'm just waiting till I'm clear. There's 3 big causes or 3 big symptoms. Sorry. The first is over planning. You endlessly are doing your strategy. You're not executing anything. You're trying to create those perfect plans, but you never move. Happy mid-September, Meryl. Thank you for joining. The next one, perfection paralysis. Oh, I was so much in this zone in the past, waiting for the perfect moment or conditions or knowledge or whatever, right? It's just a matter of you're constantly waiting for just the timing to be right. And then the third symptom, you're practicing those readiness rituals, right? you keep preparing. You take another course, you take another work on another certification, you read another book. You're looking for some kind of sign that it's safe to move, that I can do this and I won't fail. Chiedza, thank you for joining. Clarity becomes your cage when you constantly keep rehearsing life instead of living it. So here's your symptom check. Do you have folders full of half started or partially finished projects? Are you constantly researching but not executing? Do you have a full calendar that's really full? You got a full schedule, you don't have any spare time, but you're not taking those bold steps to move you to where you want to be? These are your checkpoints. I love this book, The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. And in it, he says, resistance will tell you anything to keep you from doing the work. It will tell you you're not ready, you're not good enough. It'll even tell you you can't do it. Sharon Rose, thank you for joining. Peace and blessings to you. All right. So where did it come from, right? Oh, here's your symptom check. Half-started projects, endless research, busy, not bold. When did you first learn this? If you're able, close your eyes and think of a time when you learned you had to be ready before taking action. Maybe it was your teacher who shamed your mistakes. Maybe it was a boss who demanded perfection. Maybe it was a parent who praised safety over risk. Here's a few journal prompts you can use for this question. Get your journal, get a note paper, whatever device you like to use. Finish this sentence. The first time I learned waiting equals safety was. Name it. Look at your life. Look at the time when you decided that waiting and not taking action was safer. Your next question. The cost of waiting then was, what was the cost? Everything has a cost, right? So when you learned that waiting equals safety, what was the cost at that time? And then the third question, the cost of waiting now is, and write down what it's costing you today. You see, you didn't learn to wait because you're lazy. You learned to wait because safety used to depend on it. But safety and aliveness, they're not the same. They're different, right? You can be safe, but are you being alive? Are you living your life? Let me get those in the chat so everybody has those. Good morning, Lisa, or good afternoon. I think she's down in the Caribbean, so I think it's morning for her also. Maybe afternoon. All right, so I've added those journal prompts so everybody can see them. You really want to get something from today's teaching, I recommend looking at them. You can reword them however you like, but take the time to answer these questions for yourself. All right, science time. Why does our brain even want clarity? Well, the first is neuroscientific. The amygdala, that's the part of our brain that keeps us safe and alive and out of danger. It sees uncertainty as threats. To your amygdala, certainty equals survival. They've even done functional MRI scans that showed that uncertainty lights up the same parts of the brain as fear. So show somebody uncertainty, their brain will react the same way as if a bear is chasing them. The next fact is what we call cognitive closure. We would prefer a wrong answer over no answer. Netflix uses us against us. TV shows use this against us, right? They put the cliffhanger and they end the episode. And your brain's like, but what happened? So it draws you in. It makes you want to come back and watch it again, right? You're like, I got to find out what's happening. That's why binge watching happens today. I remember when I was young, you had to wait a whole week to find out what was going to happen. Now you just click continue watching. But that's your brain wanting to close the loop, to find an answer, any answer, even if it's the wrong one. That brings the anxiety down in the brain. And then identity formation. Research has shown that your self-concept, who you believe you are, I've been like that, Sharon. Put it off till the last minute and then take aim. Might miss, but at least I got the shot in before the buzzer. In fact, I remember one time, and welcome, Sue, in my university days, which was in my 30s, my late 30s, I had a paper due, and I put it off, put it off, put it off, put it off, until just a few hours before I was supposed to go to class. And because I knew I had to get this paper written. So I finally sat down and started writing. And the funny thing is I kept putting it off, but once I actually sat down and started doing it, the words just flowed. And I was questioning myself today and go, why did I sit on it? Why didn't I just get moving? I could have had it done and then just relaxed. But the story goes that sitting down and writing, Cyrus, welcome. I was writing this paper and I had wrote the last word and hit save, and my alarm went off to tell me to get in the car and go to the class. I did that so many times back then. I don't want to do that anymore. Because I came to believe, like I've said before, I used to say, oh, I put the pro in procrastination, like that was some badge of honor. That's I look at it today and go, what was I thinking? But that's who I believed I was. That was who I thought I was. I was the guy that put things off to the last minute, who had to think everything through before taking action. Today, I've learned to take action. You can do some research, but don't get stuck in the research mode. Don't get stuck in analysis paralysis, as we call it. Because the research shows that your self-concept improves and evolves, not through thinking, but through action. You don't get your self-concept right and then take action. You take action and your self-concept starts to form. James Clear said it this way: every action casts a vote for the type of person you want to become. So today I just ask a simple question. If I was this kind of person, or if I say I am this kind of person, what's my next action step? As we said before, to your brain, especially to your alarm system, the amygdala, clarity equals safety. But deep in your soul, it knows that you don't find clarity, you forge it by taking action steps. T.S. Eliot says, If you aren't in over your head, how do you know how tall you are? As we said, readiness is a myth. Waiting till you feel ready, sit down because you'll be waiting a long time. Here's a simple exercise to practice. Write this out, speak it out, whatever works for you. The thing I keep waiting to feel ready for is, again, name it. When you name it, then it loses its grip. So the thing I keep waiting to feel ready for is, and you fill in the blank. And then on the next line, or the following words, if I moved today, the first imperfect step would be. What's that first little imperfect step? What's the one little action you could do today that will move you towards your goal? And I love that, Sharon. Except the recovering perfectionist, right? Revise endlessly. So I love the way you break it up, that you take a walk, do a hit session, do something to kind of wake yourself up and get back to, or break yourself out of the loop. Because that's the thing, as humans, we get stuck in these loops. Just like the old record players. I remember as a young man, child, whatever, the record would be playing, you'd be listening to the song, and then all of a sudden it's like, can't live, can't live, can't live, can't live, can't live. And you'd go over and you'd bump the record player, if living is without you, right? Whatever song. And even CDs did this when they came out. You don't need to feel ready to move. You need to move, and the readiness will catch up. Abraham Maslow says, in any given moment, you have two options: step forward and grow, or step back into safety. So do you want to grow or do you want to stay safe? Right? It's easy to get caught in our comfort zone. So here's a little story. If you've ever driven in the dark on a foggy road, you turn on the headlights, how far do you see, right? You might see 5 meters, 10 meters, maybe more. Do you stop the car and get off the road and wait for the sunrise, wait for the fog to lift? No. You keep going. You slow down because you know you're only seeing that 5 meters, that 50 feet, whatever, in front of you. You have limited visibility. So you travel slowly, but you keep moving. Clarity works the same way. You might only see 2 meters forward, 1 or 2 steps forward in your process, but keep moving. Slow, easy, imperfect movement will keep you moving. So, my question: where in your life are you parked on the side of the road waiting for the whole map, when really all you need is the next few meters or feet? Yes, Amalia. Even more so today, when information is so easy and plentiful, right? You can go on Google, you can go on ChatGPT, you can go on whatever tool, and you can find buckets and buckets and buckets and buckets and buckets and buckets of information that will either confirm or contrast what you believe, which then can lead you down a whole nother one path, right? That you start just get stuck on that treadmill, running, and you're not getting anywhere. Kimberly, welcome. Thank you for coming. Right? Action is getting off of the treadmill. It's taking that next step. What's the little micro action you can do that will move you towards where you want to go? All right. Now, I'm going to run out of slides because this AI tool that I used only gave me 8 slides. So this is my last slide. Just a heads up. I have more teaching, but this is my last slide. So practice, and I think this says practice number 1. Yeah, this is practice number 1, but we're on to practice number 2. So I'm going to switch this back since I'm out of slides. Get to see my bright, shiny face. Your identity, who you are, who you believe yourself to be, it doesn't come before the action. It doesn't precede the action. It's actually formed by it. You don't become a writer because you feel like one. You become a writer when you write. You don't become a leader when you're ready. You become a leader when you lead. I see a big comment here from Calm. Organizational change movement. This version is for leading a department or company through a strategic shift, roadmap and resources, have a clear plan, everyone aligned and enabled. So RE, ensure company-wide understanding, provide training. A, accountability and action, define clear ownership, and take first decisive steps. D, dialogue and dynamism, maintain open communication, and be prepared to adapt quickly. Why? Yielding a new outcome. The entire effort is focused on delivering a tangible, positive result. Very well. Very well said. I love acronyms. And you're welcome, Meryl. Next week will be better slides. I'll spend the time to build all the slides for all the steps. I have a template, so it's not too difficult. Yes, Kimberly. By taking action, by moving, we build evidence. And that is actually, you believe, you take action, that it requires action to move through it. As I was saying, identity doesn't precede action. It is actually formed by it. You don't become a writer because you felt like one. You become a writer because you start writing. You don't become a leader because you were ready. You become a leader when you lead. So your exercise for this step is write, if I took one action today, the kind of person I'd be proving myself to be is, I'll put that in the chat again, because I know if I was in the audience, this would be very helpful to have notes. Especially with LinkedIn Live, because I can't go get a transcript. I can't go back and download it and clip it or rewatch. I can rewatch it, but it's very challenging. Stop asking, who am I to do this? That's my statement. Stop asking, who am I to do this? And start asking, who will I become by doing this? Right? Stop asking, who am I to do this? And start asking, who will I become by doing it? William H. Murray says, the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. So commit yourself, take the action steps, and the universe, God, whatever you believe, somebody, something, the forces behind you will move, right? The Bible itself says faith without works, believing without action, is fruitless. All right. Two chair exercise, right? The dialogue. As I've said before, if you do this with two actual chairs and you actually physically do this, it's even more impactful, but you can do it mentally. You can, you could turn and say, I need to wait until it's safe. I need you to be prepared. If you leap now, we'll fail and we'll be humiliated. I hear you, but clarity lives on the other side of risk. We'll figure it out as we go. So that action, like, look at your side, the protector side of you. They're probably saying, oh, you got to wait till it's safe. You need to be more prepared. You need that extra certification, that extra letter at the end of your name or whatever. That you got to go get your master's. You got to go get your PhD. You got to go endlessly chase after something. You don't want to, if you take a jump now, what if you fall on your face? You get humiliated. And we don't deny that. We just calmly say, yeah, I hear you. But clarity comes from action. Sitting here in my comfort zone, not taking action, isn't going to solve anything. So let's take the step and we'll work through it. Just Saturday, my wife was going to go off by herself to go to a doctor's appointment, her annual or, her checkup. Nothing, no major problems, just a checkup, annual, her cancer screening, etc. And normally I go with her, but part of her growth process is doing more things for herself by herself. She took my son, they jumped in the truck, they were going to go to the doctors, everything started out well. I'm talking to an English student. I'm about 15 minutes into my lesson, and I get a FaceTime from my son. Mommy needs you. And then she's like, switch the call. She's like, the truck's not working. Come help me. So I tell my student, I say, hey, sorry, I got to go. My wife needs help. I really apologize, but I got to go. Okay, take care of your family. So I jump on my motorcycle, run out the door, go up the highway to find her. She's on the side of the road. She's totally stressed out. She starts the truck. I check it out. She hits the accelerator. It accelerates. She's like, it wasn't doing that. I say, okay, let's test it. I'll get on the motorcycle and follow you. So she gets back on the highway and the truck's accelerating normal. Everything's okay. Then it does it again. The acceleration stops. So she pulls back over to the side. We check it out. She restarts the truck, gets some acceleration. She's like, I'm not going to the doctor. She's like, you need to call the tow truck and have them come pick this thing up and take it home. I said, I don't want to pay for the tow truck. Let's go up to where we can turn around and drive home. It's downhill going home, so it would be less of an issue. She's like, still very stressed, still very nervous. And I said, it's okay. I'm here. We're good. We got this together. We can handle it. We go up to the top of the hill. I have her pull to the side. I said, okay, here. We'll put the motorcycle in the back of the truck and I'll drive the truck home. So you can just relax. You can get back into your peace. I love it. We were talking about it on the audio kickoff call this morning about your turtle shell, right? Sometimes you need to tuck back in the turtle shell and deal with it and get right before you pop your head back out and deal with the world. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay. Sometimes you do need to get in your turtle shell. I was just reading about it in the morning. Like, sometimes your best creativity happens when you're hiding in your turtle shell. So embrace your turtle shell. So we're lifting the motorcycle up into the truck, and some random driver stops his car, gets out, and helps us. There's the illustration of what I was saying earlier. Take action, and things get put into motion to help you on your journey. But if you don't take action, if we just stayed on the side of the road, I wouldn't have met this person. He's a wonderful guy. He's like, hey, yeah, I live right here in this town. And, how long have you been? And he's like, need to practice my English. Really nice conversation. Wonderful guy. May never see him again. I don't know. But if I had just stayed on the side of the road and tried to call a tow truck, and here's the reality. The whole way down the hill, no problem with the truck. Now, of course, we filled up the gas at the top of the hill just to be sure. I'm not sure if it was like maybe the gas wasn't drawing or if there was water in the fuel. I don't know. But the truck's not doing it. But remember, with our two-chair object or dialogue, the object is to just acknowledge, like, okay, we can handle this. We're not looking to kill the fear or kill the protective voice or silence it. We're acknowledging it, right? Reminding it and thanking it, like, for protecting me. That's its job, is to protect you. But it's not the director, right? Let it protect. Let it alert you when there are things to worry about, real things to worry about. And then you can make the decision like, okay, this is the reality. This is what I'm going to do. I know what it gave. My slide 8 was actually this slide. So let me switch it back up. All right. So in closing, here's your big action. Write this down. Write the leap you keep waiting to feel ready for. What is that thing that you're just like, I need to feel ready? And then write down the next imperfect step I can take, or I will take, not I can take, I will take. The next imperfect step I'll take is, like Sue did, or Amalia, right? Write out, speak out, take a few minutes to actually think this through. And then here's your 7-day experiment. Find one thing on your postponement list and do it. Do something with it. You don't have to finish it. You don't have to be perfect. Just do something, right? My mantra today is do it messy, but just get it done, right? Colonel Sanders, I was doing my research for my book, Reborn at 50, the Midlife Guide to Rebellion. And I was looking at people like Colonel Sanders, who at 60 broke. He's traveling around the country trying to get somebody to buy his fried chicken recipe, getting rejected at every turn. But he kept going. He kept saying, hey, I know that people are going to love this. I'm going to go talk to the next person. Well, if you know the story, nobody ever bought it. he decided nobody's going to buy it. I'll start making this chicken. And today we have KFC. Ray Kroc, maybe you know the name. He was a traveling salesman traveling around selling milkshake machines. Not doing too bad. Probably not where he wanted to be, but he's doing okay. He visits a two brothers burger shop in San Bernardino. And he looks at their operation and he realizes they've got quite the system. Anybody know who this company is now? Go ahead and put that in the chat. Who did those two brothers and Ray Kroc, when they merged together and took their idea globally, what company is that? Or Vera Wang or Wang, I don't know. I'm not a fashion guy, so I don't know. The ladies will probably know her. She's 40 years old, never even thought about fashion, but she wanted a wedding dress and she couldn't find one she liked. So she made her own. Now she's a fashion icon. Why? Because did she sit there and go, oh, I can't find a dress. What am I going to do? No, she said, okay, I'm going to make a dress. Maybe it was amazing. Maybe it was not as good as she would have liked. I don't know, but she made the dress. Ralph Waldo Emerson says, if you've been waiting for clarity, do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. Exactly, Meryl. It's McDonald's. 30,000, almost 40,000 photos. Sharon, that's a lot of work. But yes, you should curate them and get them posted and, share them. Because I'm sure, your photos could brighten someone's day, make their work more powerful, and, bring you some benefit too. Calmly. Not sure how I say it, calm. So Ralph Waldo Emerson, do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. As a reminder, readiness is a myth. You don't wait to become, you leap, and your identity evolves on the way. Right? I heard it said, a true entrepreneur jumps off the cliff and builds the airplane on the way down. I love it, Amalia. Amalia, I love that because I know you got your Substack up and I'm proud of you. I'm very, very proud of you. So everybody else, what's that thing you've researched to death and you're just waiting for that, I need this one more piece of information, or I need to feel ready, or I need to wait till I finish this course or this book or this YouTube series or whatever. What's the one thing that you've been waiting on that you could take one small, imperfect, messy action on and watch how that shifts your life? Maybe you've been waiting on clarity before you leap. Maybe this talk woke something up in you. I'd love to have a chat. No obligations, no pitch, none of that slimy. I was in the kickoff call and somebody was talking about, we were talking about funnels. The word funnel came up and marketing. I don't like that marketing. Because we have this vision of marketing and sales. And Omar, I'm glad you made it. That it's this icky thing. But anyway, I'd love to have a call. Let's talk about what it is that you want. What is the thing, the clarity that you've been seeking? You're waiting for the readiness. And we'll map out what your soul, what your identity is craving at its deepest level. I've had it open a few slots this week. If you're ready to get out of clarity addiction and move into aligned action, comment on the post for this event. Just put LEAP or send me a DM. All you have to do is send me a simple DM, LEAP, and I'll give you the information. Like I said, no obligation, no pitch. 20 minutes. Interesting question, Calm. But the reality is if you have the identity, if you really have the identity, the action just happens. Right? I was on an event recently. When I see myself as a podcaster who creates an episode every day, I don't have to fight against it. I take it and I record it. Yeah. Do things get in my way? Yeah. I was sharing recently that I took a 13-day break. I didn't post a single episode for 13 days. I'm not beating myself up over that. I was spending time with my son. My son is important to me. Spending time with my family, getting things done around the house that I'd neglected. But I rolled right back in because my identity is I'm a podcaster who posts a daily daily power boost, and people resonate and they get a lot out of it. That, it shifts. People have commented or messaged and said, wow, that was really powerful. It really shifted me. And that's, that lights me up when I know that somebody's life the needle moved in a positive direction. When Amalia showed me her Substack today, I was very proud of her. Her comment just now that she's going to get that first article published, even if it's just like, I don't know what to write. I've been stuck in this analysis paralysis. It doesn't matter, because by sharing our story, and I've totally seen this with my wife's book, she wrote the journal for her own process. Then she decided to publish it. Something inside her told her that she should publish it. So we published it. She's heard so many comments, like people saying, did you write, like, it's like you wrote this for me. Her aunt said, well, I didn't go through what you went through, but yeah, I'm seeing changes. I'm going to get one for my daughter because she didn't go through what I went through or what you went through, but I think it will help her. Your story matters. Stop hiding it. Someone once told me, by hiding your story, by not speaking your truth, you're not disrespecting yourself. And I actually did a speech about 8 years ago on this. Are you disrespecting yourself? And then I realized 7 years later that I had been disrespecting myself for 7 years. But somebody said this to me once. You're not bigger than disrespecting yourself. You're disrespecting other people, because someone out there is going through something similar to what you've gone through and gotten to the other side of. And your words in a video, in an audio room, and a written content, doesn't matter, opens the door. Well, if they can do it, maybe I can do it. All right. Clarity is addictive because of the safety feature. Right? That's why we get stuck in our comfort zone. We like comfort. We like safety. Stay in my bubble. Stay in my turtle shell constantly. But don't let it become a cage. Because, if you're too busy preparing and rehearsing, are you really living? All right. So we got a few minutes left, about 15 minutes. Let me share the link. If anybody would like to come up on audio or video, doesn't matter, and share, I welcome you. I love having discussions. There we go. And I'm going to do one other thing. Make a small edit. And we'll add a QR code. So I'd love to hear from you, hear what you took away, maybe what you're ready to move on, right? The map that you're ready to reveal by moving forward. Because your future self is not waiting for you to become certain, to become ready. They're waiting for you to begin, to take that first step. It's true. And not just deprived, like when I heard it, Meryl, it was you're disrespecting other people. And that really hit me because like I am not about, especially considering at the time I heard it, I was still a bit of a pleaser. So telling a pleaser like you're disrespecting people, oh, can't do that. Like don't want to do that. Yes. So that's my whole lesson today. Any other comments about maybe where you've been seeking clarity, that you're realizing it's time to take that step. It's time to make a move, take some action to grow and build a stronger identity, a stronger belief in yourself, a stronger self-concept of who you think you are, who you want to be. And Amalia, I can't wait to see your first article, even if it's 5 lines, because I know you have a lot of wisdom to share, as do all of you. Tracy, Meryl, Lisa, Sharon, Calm, Omar, Sue. Yay, thank you, Amalia, for coming up.
Oh, give me.
I hear you.
Okay, I had to get off of LinkedIn. It was an echo. No, thank you so much for having me. I want to join you today because I love today's topic. And I feel like every time we take a shift in our life or pivot or we evolved, finding clarity can be so exhausting because it's like I've already started something, I'm already known for something. Sometimes trying to get clarity in that growth process can almost leave you stagnant.
It often leads to stagnation, right? You know, all these cliches like analysis paralysis or etc. They're 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 based in reality. They're based on facts. Just like, some stereotypes, there was a fact that got the stereotype started. Not necessarily 100% true, but there's some truth to things like that. And I'm not liking what I just said. It doesn't sound right when I said it.
You know, Sean, I can definitely say though, there's truth to everything that you said today. But I've also noticed for myself, after I go out there and try things, when I do finally find clarity, I'm more productive. I know exactly what I want to talk about. I feel more confident in my coaching, what I'm going to help people with. It's just getting to that clarity is like if you don't find it immediately, sometimes you do give up. Sometimes you get exhausted, burnt out, feel discouraged. And that's where I feel like a lot of people, especially as entrepreneurs and solopreneurs, if we don't get clarity immediately, we let that be our sign that this is not what we're supposed to be doing. But when you finally get clarity, I'm telling you, like even now when I was saying, like I finally feel like as long as we've been talking about Substack, it's been a while now. Like this has been a topic for a very long time, but I finally, as we've been testing things out with you guys, I feel like I mean I'm not 100% clear. I have like the testing clarity, but I feel like the more I go out and do it, as I get that full clarity, I'd be more likely to really show up my full self and all my talents because I'm clear on how to help people.
Well, and I look at it this way too, Amalia. Like sometimes you got to walk down the wrong path to know it's not the right path.
That's
Right? You
exactly
can
how I
you can
feel.
look down the path and go, maybe I could go down that path, or maybe I should go down this path. But until you go down the path, you don't really know.
I'm laughing to myself because that's exactly how I became the audio events queen by just taking the wrong path. I just didn't want to go on camera. I just hated camera and it turned to something else. It's like, well, I don't want to do that, but let me try this. And I tried it, liked it, educated others how to do it, and bam, it started
Right.
something.
And I know for me, like when I launched my podcast, if I go back and listen to my first episodes, I'm just like, I'm like, those were horrible. But and my wife even said that. Like I pulled up that video of that speech from 8 years ago because it was a Facebook Live. And my wife made a comment. She's like, do you see the difference of when you gave that speech and your podcast today? It's totally like, but it's something like I probably wouldn't have become what I am today without that path, right? To actually like hit that record button and then send it and publish it up to Spotify or whatever. Or like I was sharing this morning, over a year, I sat on a Substack with no posts.
You're sounding like me now, Sean. Just kidding.
It's a shared path, right? We get caught in the, oh, what's, somebody said, oh, Substack, it's good, it'll build your business. Okay, let me sign up for Substack. Oh, now I don't know what to do. Let me get clear. What am I going to write about? What color do I want? What logo do I want?
My biggest
And
dilemma
even
was paid versus free. That's what kept me stuck with Substack for so long. What should I make free content? What should be paid content? Overthinking it. What will they find valuable enough that they actually want to subscribe? And guess what? I end up posting nothing.
exactly, we get stuck on the wheel. And on that topic, I actually, if you look at my free versus paid, like my paid content, it's not like you get 3 lines and then there's the paywall. Like I've seen those on Medium and other sites, you get like one paragraph and it cuts. What I did was like 80% of the article is still available to free readers. What's behind the paywall is the action steps.
Oh, that's smart. So I'm so happy we have our co-working session soon, so you can teach me all of these great things. But I don't want to take up too much of your time, Sean. I just want to jump on here. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Well, and the mention of the co-working space, that's the other beauty. Is like you don't have to do it alone, right? Find people you align with where you can work together, grow together, and lift each other up, right? I wasn't sure. Melanie shared how I had made the comment when she was doing disruptive business leadership. I wasn't sure how it landed, but I got to hear from her how it landed. And it landed like I wanted it to land. I wanted it to be encouraging for her because that's me. I'm about encouraging people, but not fluffing them.
I love that you said that. No fluffing. You'd be surprised. We're in a stage now where people just do not appreciate fluff anymore. It's a non fluff type of world we live in. Do not give me the
Well,
fluff.
well, and the funny thing is like I feel like using the word fluff is like problematic today. Like it's a taboo word
Yeah.
because because so much AI content loves to use fluff.
I'm so glad you said that. I'm not going to get off topic, but the clarity that you think you have from AI versus the clarity that is purpose driven.
Well, and even with AI, I would say it this way that it depends on how you use AI. Do you use it as a thinking partner, as a cognitive sparring partner? Like, okay, here's what I think. Challenge me. Give me reasons why I'm off. Versus, help me write an article about not being fluff.
People can tell the difference because it's not your voice, your brand voice. And the more we start using AI, the more I have to be careful because even for myself, it's just so easy. It's like, type this out and use my brand voice. It's a prompt. You could tell it to do that. But then I realize when I finally read it, it doesn't give my authentic
Exactly. Like, because you
advice,
can you can
storytelling, all
train
these
you can train
matter.
it, and it's just getting better and better and better at mimicking your style. But like you said, there's no soul, right? There's no human soul. It's you look at it and you're like, that's my words, but it's not me.
So,
And yes,
so there's delay. Go ahead, Sean. My apologies. I didn't mean to speak over you. Go ahead.
well, the thought train just derailed. So go ahead.
Oh, I am so sorry. Technology. Oh my goodness. There was a delay. I didn't realize you were still talking. But I have a question for you. And it
Yeah.
goes into the main topic of clarity. What would be your advice to someone who used to have clarity, but is because you're a mindset coach too, but their mindset has shifted to where they're at a different space in life? Because I feel like, and I think that's important too, because a lot of us try to act like we're not human. But when life happens to you and that clarity gets foggy with everything around you that's happening in life, how do they come back to that clarity? Is it time for them to pivot, or is it time for them to get back to the original clarity? Hopefully that made sense. If not, I can rephrase the
No,
question.
it made sense. And there's two things that I was thinking of as you were sharing that. One thing that I've like the instant thing I thought of was when I was in my like after high school, when I was early years in the Navy, the area I lived in, you could leave the house and it's perfectly clear. And you drive 5 miles down the road and the fog is so thick you can't see past the end of the hood. So when that fog falls suddenly, because I lived in the San Francisco Bay Area. So you never know. You could leave the house and everything was clear, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're sacked in with fog. Like I told in the story earlier, it's like I didn't stop the car and park on the side of the road till it cleared. I inched forward slowly, right? When I can't see clearly, I slow down and move forward little by little. And I would actually drive out my side window watching the line because it was the one thing I could tell where I was going. I was watching for lights ahead, but my line would tell me because I couldn't even see the road. So I think it's the same way with clarity, right? Sometimes the clarity just kind of it's gone. So slow down. You might need to pause. We talked about this morning, right? Take a pause, take a step back, kind of scan the horizon like, okay, am I still on the right path? Because life shifts, life happens. So, it's okay to pull back, retreat to the shell as we talked about, kind of look at things, make sure I'm still on the right path. Is it still aligned with who I see I am today? And then get back into action, right? Take that next step. What's the next small step? Do I pivot? Maybe I pivot a little bit and go forward a little bit and say, oh, yeah, this is it. This is the right way. Or no, it's not. Let me adjust again. Does that make sense?
It
Does that
makes
help?
perfect sense. Thank you, Sean. I love how when you speak, because I was visually seeing you putting the bright lights on, head out the window, all of the fog. No, but I appreciate you, and that's very true. Sometimes you just have to go slow, take it one step at a time. I was reading the comments as I'm in the back too, and I love. Um, Actually, I believe it was Sharon. It was
Hmm.
like the one step forward, two steps back, but sometimes you just got to take it slow.
Well, and I heard my wife talking because her book is all about her healing journey, and we'd love for healing and growth to be this nice linear path, but that's not real. Right? It can be two steps forward, one step back, three steps forward, 10 steps back, go east, go west, go south. We can let that frustrate us and stagnate us, or we can say, okay, I can handle this. Let me make a course correction. Let me slow down for the moment and move ahead boldly, but with a degree of certainty. We all want a little bit of certainty, right? We like waking up and knowing that the lights are going to turn on, the water's going to come out of the sink, the food's still in the freezer, edible, all of these things. We love it. There's nothing wrong with it. But we also have to go, okay, what happens if the freezer fails and all the food spoils? What are you going to do? You're going to flip out or you're going to go buy new food?
You're gonna have one big barbecue that day. Just kidding.
My
Invite the
mother-in-law did
neighbors.
that. My mother-in-law did that because they had a big upright freezer full of meat, and they had a hurricane, class 2 hurricane come in. So they just cooked everything up, like you said, instead of throwing it away. Invite the whole neighborhood.
Well, I'm not gonna keep you too long, Sean. Thank you for letting me join you on stage. Can we
Thank you for
highlight
joining me.
one comment though?
Yes. Which one?
Um the very last one I see that just came in.
Sharon's ego death or the one before that?
That one. I would love to know if you could elaborate on that. I think that would be perfect for me before I step off your stage.
Well, and I had a discussion about this. Like often we see the ego as We often see the ego as an enemy and we need to eradicate it. But I was having a very interesting discussion about this. We don't have to eradicate the ego because the ego can serve us. So the question becomes like, is your ego serving you or are you serving your ego? The ego serves a purpose. You didn't become the audio queen just because you showed up at audio events every time. There was a little bit of ego in there. And you own it today. Couldn't own it
Brenda,
if you didn't have ego.
believe it or not, Brenda Miller gave me this name. And once Brenda Miller gives you something, you just can't renege it. So no, but it was an honor, and it took a while for me. I love that you said ego because it made me uncomfortable at first because I felt unqualified in the beginning stages to keep that title. Even to this day, sometimes I get challenged with the title because I'm not everything audio. Like my specialty, I'm really good at live audio events and turning those into podcasts. But because you hear the audio queen, they think I'm supposed to be Twitter spaces, Clubhouse. So at first, I had to really believe in myself all over again because sometimes the egos and how people make you feel. I used to hate the title almost. It put so much pressure on me.
Yes. Well, and at least you only had the queen because when I initially was pursuing coaching 8 years ago, I had made a connection with a woman who was in my circle and network. She's quite successful today. She had the title the tweeting goddess. Like you just settled for queen. You had goddess. Like, talk about a little bit of ego.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
But as you said that, as you said that, like I thought of Queen Elizabeth, who we just recently lost, right? She's the queen. And she was thrust into it at a young age. But she was the queen of England. She didn't rule the whole world. You don't have to rule the whole audio world. You can own your space.
I love that. And there we go. You just gave me clarity.
I was your clarity catalyst.
I feel like I just got a coaching session on live. What do I owe you? Just kidding.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I have a vision on the podcast to bring actual coaching sessions. I've seen another coach do it and they're powerful. I just have to find
Nice.
willing clients.
Rolling victims. I'm in the hot seat. Well, the love seat. We're called
The
the
love
love
seat.
seat. You,
Yes,
you
I
are.
remember you got in trouble. I remember you got called out on the hot seat.
I think was it Merle? I don't know.
It
When I was
might
doing
have
my
been.
spotlight, I kept putting people in the hot seat. Great times. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get off
All right.
stage.
Yes, we're at the top of the hour. Thanks, Amelia. I'm glad that you found a little clarity. Because
Thank you so
I didn't give you clarity. Like I said, I'm the catalyst. I own that. I am the clarity catalyst.
much. All right. Well, bye everyone. This was great. I see Sharon, Meryl, everyone. Backstage is so much fun, honestly. All
It
right.
really is. All right. Have a great week
Bye.
and stay awesome. And I would say another great comment by Sharon because I've felt this too. Like who I was, I had to crucify him so that I could be reborn like a phoenix to become who I am today. Getting rid of the misguided ego, taking him out of the driver's seat. Um, Thank you again, everybody, for being here, for the wonderful engagement and comments. I appreciate every one of you. As I told Amalia, stay awesome because you are, whether you believe it or not. I do. Thanks again. We'll see you all next week. Take care.